So I'm not really a fan of this focal length, this 35mm full frame equivalent. It's not interesting to me. It's hard for me to create something that I feel good with this lens right here. But that was before I started giving it a chance. Let's talk about it. Cue's intro. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, Iamtongue. It's me, Tongue. I am him. I'm Tongue. And today we're going to be reviewing this little guy, the 23mm f1.4. As you can already see, this lens share the similar build like the 16mm f1.4. It is built very nice metal with some nice weight to it, unlike the f2 counterparts. It has a focusing clutch just like the 16, but unlike the 16, the 23mm f1.4 is not weather resistant. So just be cautious if you're going to, go out in the rain. I went out the other day to downtown Toronto and shot exclusively with this lens, and it was raining mildly with some mist. And as you can see here in these images, it was kind of wet and it held up great in that sort of condition. But again, just exercise with caution. Let's talk about the image quality. I am loving the images, but it wasn't always like this. I always felt that the 23mm sits in the middle of the 16 and the 35mm lenses. So whenever I use this lens, I wish that this was a little bit tighter or this was a little bit wider for what I'm trying to capture. It's not until I started to go out more with this lens and use it to capture the city of Toronto where I feel that this lens shines. Shines with an S? Yeah. This lens shines. Oh man, why does that sound like a tongue twister right now? Doesn't feel right coming out my mouth. This lens shines. This lens is great when you're documenting life. Just a lens to walk around with when you're frolicking in the city. I started to accept this lens for what it is, and I find myself to enjoy it this way. It's very sharp in the center at f1.4, but it is a bit soft around the corner. Where this lens really shines. Oh god, shines. This lens shines. Where this lens really shines is stopping it down from f5.6 to f9, and oh my god, sharp as a knife, sharp as nails, sharp like the electronics brand. The images I am getting straight out of camera is just insane. Like, just look at this photo right here. I took this around City Hall, downtown Toronto, and then zoom it in by 20% and boom, you can see how sharp it is. You can actually read out that sign and see all that detail. Bay, Adelaide Center, Brookfield Properties. That's just nuts. And look at this other shot with the arc and the reflection. And boom, zoom it in to 200% and you look at that. Look at that detail. You can see that biker who wasn't really the subject of the shot in the shot. And that is just so incredible in my eyes. It's really sharp. So safe to say you won't be disappointed with the sharpness on this lens. I also pulled up my old portrait shoots taken with this lens at the Neon Demon studio here in Toronto, and oh my god, I did not give it its proper praises. Again, all I thought was meh and because I didn't like this focal length. It was just not for me at the time, but looking back at these portraits I took at the Neon Demon studio, I just love how these images render. The out of focus part is awesome. If you get close enough, you can get some of that creamy bokeh. If there was something negative to say about this lens, it is that this autofocusing system is the same like the 56 and the 16mm f1.4, where it makes that grinding noise. So you can't really do any video without the camera picking up that clunky grinding sound. And during a video shoot, you can't really rely on this lens to latch on to the subject as quick as you want. We were shooting some like B-roll stuff downtown, and there was just always this pulse when looking for focus, but it works well when it doesn't have a lot of things moving in the frame. However, if it pertains to photography, this 23mm f1.4 autofocuses quite well. It's snappy enough, it's not as quick as the f2 lenses, but it's not as slow as the 56mm f1.2 lenses. I would say this is similar to the 16mm f1.4 when it comes to autofocusing speed in photos. Also, priced at 1,200 Canadian, it's quite expensive considering that the f2 counterpart is half the price and can get the job done. It has weather resistant and it's in a smaller form factor for the street photographers that want the ultimate discretion. So you really got to weigh out your options if you're considering this lens or not. There's also some color fringing to this lens, and it's there, but it's really not that noticeable. If you're a pixel peeper, you're going to see it, but if you just look at the photos overall, I think you'll be satisfied. The fringing on the 23mm f1.4 is not as bad as the 16mm f1.4 in my opinion. So who is this lens for? Street photographers for one. If you want the ultimate image quality from a 23mm lens, I would say this f1.4 is superior to its f2 counterparts. A photographer that likes to document things like everyday life things, using this as their walking around lens. Wedding photographers would be pleased with this. It could tell a better story than a tight lens because of its wider focal length. And I think if you're any of these folks, you'll be very pleased with this lens. So where do I rank this lens? I still prefer the 16mm f1.4 over this one just because I prefer the wider focal length. But this one isn't far behind. I think it's a close second. Honestly, I did not like this lens. I didn't get the hype of this lens like a few years ago when I was using it. But using it again over this past month, this lens grew on me. The image quality out of this lens is stellar, and Fuji knocked one out of the park with this one. Enough about me. What are your thoughts on this lens? Do you guys like it? Love it? Hate it? Do you wish you had this lens? Yeah, just don't use this for video. You'll be really disappointed. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And once again, my name is Tongue, and I do Fujifilm and photography related videos on this channel. So make sure to subscribe for future videos, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. I love you. Okay, bye. Oh my god.